Have you ever walked into someone's home, maybe a neighbor, a friend from church, and thought, how do they keep it this clean without looking like they're trying? No clutter, no rush, just calm, quiet order, as if the house itself is gently breathing. This isn't a video about deep cleaning marathons or complicated organizing systems. It's about simple daily habits that older adults with the cleanest, most peaceful homes swear by. Habits that are gentle, realistic, and surprisingly powerful. By the end of this video, you'll discover how just one small change a day can bring more clarity, comfort, and calm into your home and your life. I still remember the first time I visited Miss Ruth's cottage. She's 74, lives alone, and greets you with that soft smile that makes you feel instantly welcome. Her home wasn't fancy, but it felt sacred. The cushions were fluffed. A single teacup sat on the counter. The afternoon light came in through the lace curtains like a quiet prayer. I asked, "Do you clean every day?" She chuckled and said, "No, honey. I just have a few little habits, like breathing in and breathing out. They keep my home and my heart light." So, what are those habits? And why do they make such a difference? Let's take a closer look right now. You know, when I was a little boy, my grandmother had a rule. Never leave your bedroom with the bed unmade, she'd say, tucking in the corners with military precision. Back then, I thought it was just a quirky habit. But now, especially as I've gotten older, I understand. It was never just about the bed. It was about beginning the day with dignity. These days, I often talk to older folks who feel like the day just runs them over, like time slips away before they even finish their first cup of coffee. But here's something simple, quiet, and powerful. Making your bed first thing in the morning. Not because guests might come, not to impress anyone, but because it's the first gentle signal to your brain. Today, I choose calm. I choose order. I'm still in charge of how this day begins. Let's be honest. When we see a messy bed, even if everything else is fine, it makes the whole room feel unfinished. It's like walking into a sentence that's missing its last word. But walk into that same room with the covers neatly pulled, pillows resting just right, and suddenly, there's peace. Even if the laundry's still waiting or the floor needs sweeping, a made bed brings a kind of quiet confidence. And here's the beautiful part. It takes less than 2 minutes. Seriously. I timed it. You just straighten the sheet, pull up the blanket, fluff the pillows, and smile. Done. One woman I visited, she's 81 and lives alone, told me, "When I make my bed, I feel like I've already done something kind for myself. It's like saying, 'Hey, you matter.'" That moved me, because for so many of us, especially in our later years, it's easy to forget that we deserve a space that feels cared for, even if no one else sees it. Maybe especially then. There's also something almost spiritual about it. In a world full of noise and unpredictability, this one quiet action gives you a sense of rhythm, of grounding. It's not about perfection. It's about presence. A way to start the day, not with chaos, but with calm. So here's what I'd say to you. As someone who's seen this habit change lives, not dramatically, but meaningfully, try it tomorrow. Before coffee, before checking your phone, before the day pulls you in a dozen directions. Make your bed. Not perfectly, just with care. Because sometimes, a made bed isn't just a tidy space. It's a reflection of how you want to carry yourself through the day. And that brings us to another powerful habit. One that doesn't just set the tone, but keeps your space clear and your mind light all day long. It's something I like to call the 30-second rule. And it's simpler than you think. Let's take a look. Next, Let me tell you something I've learned after visiting hundreds of homes. It's not the big messes that make a place feel out of control. It's the small stuff that gets left out. One cup here, a newspaper there, yesterday's jacket on the back of a chair, and before you know it, the home that once felt calm now feels like it's breathing down your neck. But the good news? Clutter doesn't build up overnight, and it doesn't take hours to fight it. Just a few small habits, done with heart and intention, can make all the difference. Let me share 3 that I've seen work wonders, especially for older adults who want a home that feels light, not heavy. Habit number 1, the one-touch rule. Here's how it works. If you touch it, you deal with it. Right then, picked up the mail? Sort it. Recycle the junk. Place bills in your organizer. Took off your shoes? Put them back on the rack. Not just for now by the couch. Used a pen? Back in the drawer. One woman in her 60s told me this rule changed her life. Before, I had little piles everywhere. I thought I'd deal with them later, but later never came. What makes this habit powerful is how little it demands. Just 30 seconds of care, but over time, it saves hours of stress. Habit number 2, a daily paper sweep mail. Flyers, grocery receipts, church bulletins. Paper clutter creeps in quietly and settles loud. So here's the trick. Have a small tray or basket near your door. The moment paper enters your house, it either goes in that basket or out to recycling. And once a day, maybe after lunch, maybe while your tea is steeping, take 5 minutes to sort through. That's it. One retired teacher told me, I used to have paper on every table. Now it all has a place. My home feels 10 pounds lighter. There's something almost symbolic about clearing paper. You're clearing your mind too. Habit number 3, the 10-minute night reset. This one's a gem, and it's especially helpful for winding down gently at the end of the day. Before bed, set a timer. 10 minutes. Put on soft music, maybe light a candle. Then walk through your main living areas and do a quick reset. Fold the throw blanket. Clear the coffee table. Rinse the mug in the sink. Put tomorrow's shoes by the door. It's not deep cleaning. It's just coming home to yourself. And the next morning, you wake up to a home that greets you with peace, not pressure. You see, these aren't chores. They're acts of self-respect. Little rituals that tell your home, I care about you, because I care about how I feel in you. And that's something we all deserve, especially as we get older. Not more to-do lists, but less visual noise. Less, I'll get to it later. More, I've got space to breathe. So if you're looking for a way to stay ahead of the mess without exhausting yourself, start here. 3 habits. A few minutes a day. No stress, just flow. And now that we've talked about clutter, let's take a moment to talk about something even lighter. The air you breathe in your home. It's a small thing, but it can completely change how your home feels and how you feel inside it. We'll explore that next. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like it was heavy? Not because of mess or clutter, but just the air? Stuffy, still. Like the room hasn't breathed in a while. Sometimes, even the cleanest spaces can feel a little off when the air inside has been sitting too long. And the truth is, a home doesn't just need to look fresh. It needs to feel fresh. That's why so many older adults I talk to have this quiet, beautiful habit. They open their windows every single day, even just for 10 minutes. Miss Geraldine, a widow in her 80s, told me this. Every morning, I open the back window while the coffee brews, even in winter, just a crack. It's like my house is saying, good morning. I love that. Because fresh air isn't just good for circulation or getting rid of yesterday's smells. It clears the mood. It shifts the energy. After cooking dinner, after tidying up, even after a long phone call that left you a little tense, opening a window can feel like pressing reset. And for those with allergies or sensitivities, you don't need to leave it open long. Even a brief exchange of air can lower dust levels, reduce that stale feeling, and gently lift your spirits. Here's a small trick. Pick a time that works for you, maybe after breakfast or while watering the plants. Crack a window in each room, just for a few minutes. Let the old air out. Let new light in. And if weather or safety's a concern, try using a small fan near the window to help circulate. Or place a tiny bowl of baking soda and a drop of lavender oil near corners. It's amazing how even a natural scent can change the whole feel of a space. Because sometimes, it's not the clutter you see that makes you feel tired. It's the heaviness you can't quite name. So give your home and your heart a breath of fresh air. You deserve to live in a space that feels alive, not just clean. And speaking of things that seem small but make a big impact, let's talk about something we all touch every single day, but don't always see. Dust. And how removing just a little of it each day can transform the way your whole home feels. Let's dive into that. Next, there's something sacred about the kitchen. It's not just where meals are made, it's where memories live. For so many of us, the kitchen is the heart of the home. It's where we used to pack school lunches, gather for Sunday dinners, or sneak a quiet midnight snack with someone we loved. And even now, as the house gets quieter, that space still holds all that emotion. Which is why keeping it clean, especially at the end of the day, isn't just about tidiness. It's about protecting your peace. Let me ask you this. Have you ever woken up, shuffled into the kitchen still half asleep, only to be met with a sink full of dirty dishes and yesterday's crumbs staring back at you? It's like walking into a task list before you've even had your coffee, and it weighs on you, not just physically, but emotionally too. Before the day has even begun, your mind is already in cleanup mode. That's no way to start a gentle morning. Now imagine something else. You wake up, step into the kitchen, and the counters are clear. The sink is empty. There's a lightness in the room, maybe even a soft scent of lemon or lavender from the towel you folded the night before. The space feels calm, welcoming. You breathe easier. That's not just a clean kitchen, that's a clean slate. And when you start your day with clarity, everything else flows more easily. One of my clients, Miss Elaine, 76 years old, still sharp as ever, told me something that stuck with me. She said, "The key to a peaceful morning is 5 quiet minutes the night before." That's it, 5 minutes. After dinner, she wipes the stove, rinses the dishes, lays out a fresh towel by the sink, and sometimes lights a candle to mark the end of her day. She doesn't call it cleaning, she calls it closing the kitchen. Like closing a good book at the end of a chapter. With care and grace. And here's something else. When your kitchen is clean, you're more likely to eat well. You're more likely to cook instead of snack, sit instead of stand, savor instead of rush. The environment invites intention. Even if you live alone, that intention matters. Your dining table isn't just for guests, it's for you. Clear it off at night. Maybe add a flower, a placemat you love, or even a little note to yourself. A message that says, you still deserve beauty and care. Because here's the truth. The kitchen is a deeply emotional place. It carries the echoes of laughter, the clinking of dishes, the stories told over soup. It deserves to be treated not like a chore zone, but like a sacred space. And when we take a moment each night to tend to it, we're doing more than wiping crumbs. We're honoring our home and ourselves. So tonight, give your kitchen those 5 minutes. Not because it's messy, but because it served you today, and it deserves a little love in return. And tomorrow morning, you'll walk in and feel it. That quiet thank you the room gives back. That calm invitation to begin your day with ease. And now that we've talked about one of the most emotional spaces in the house, let's talk about one of the most exhausting. At least, until you change the way you think about it. Laundry. It doesn't have to pile up. It doesn't have to take over the weekend. In fact, with one tiny shift in habit, it can become the easiest part of your routine. Let's talk about that next. Let's be honest. Laundry has a way of sneaking up on us. 1 minute the basket's empty, and the next, it's overflowing with shirts, wheels, socks you forgot you even owned. And for many people, especially those of us living alone or with limited mobility, laundry day can feel like a mountain we'd rather not climb. But what if I told you that mountain can become a small, easy hill? If you change just one thing, do a little laundry every day, not loads and loads, not a full hamper, just one small load, one category at a time, a few hand towels, a couple of shirts, maybe just the pillowcases. That's all. There's something peaceful about this approach. Instead of dreading a day-long task, it becomes a gentle rhythm, part of your daily flow, like brushing your teeth or making your bed. One man I know, Mr. Lee, 72, a widower, told me this changed everything for him. I used to save it all for Saturdays. I'd wear myself out and be cranky by noon. Now I just wash a little after breakfast each morning. I hardly think about it anymore. And I'm never out of socks. There's wisdom in that, because laundry isn't just about cleaning clothes. It's about energy. And as we get older, that energy needs to be protected. Paced, not pushed. Doing a small load daily has other benefits too. You avoid the back pain shuffle of hauling heavy baskets. You get fresher smelling clothes that don't sit damp too long. And folding becomes a 3-minute moment, not an hour-long chore. Here's a simple trick to make it even easier. Keep a few small laundry bags nearby. One for darks, one for lights, one for towels. As soon as one fills up, that's your load for the day. No thinking, no sorting, just flow. You can even tie this into another habit. Maybe start the washer before your morning walk or while you're making lunch. That way, it becomes background, not burden. Because here's the thing. When laundry doesn't pile up, your home feels lighter. And when your home feels lighter, so do you. And speaking of lightness, let's talk about something that adds beauty, clarity, and calm to your entire space without lifting a finger. It's not about cleaning surfaces or folding anything. It's about what you see when you walk through your home. Let's talk about that next. There comes a time in life, and maybe you've felt it too, when you start looking around your home and something feels heavy. Not because it's dirty, not even because it's messy, but because there's simply too much. Too many things, too many layers, too many objects that no longer speak to who you are now. It's a weight you don't always notice until you begin to let it go. I remember visiting Miss Clara, a retired nurse in her late 70s. Her home was quiet, peaceful, lived in the most beautiful way. No cluttered shelves, no plastic bins stacked in corners, just open space, soft light, and a chair by the window where she liked to read. She told me, "You know, I used to keep everything. My kids' school projects, every dish I ever owned, even clothes from 20 years ago. I thought if I let them go, I'd lose the memories with them." Then she paused and smiled gently. But I realized, the memories are in me, not in the stuff. That's the shift. That's the moment clarity begins. Because we all do it. We hold on to items, to guilt, to some imagined version of how our home should look. We keep that uncomfortable chair because it was a gift. We store glassware we never use just in case. We fill drawers with things we haven't touched in years, but somehow feel responsible for. And it slowly fills our lives with visual noise. It crowds out the peace. But what if our homes weren't museums of the past, but sanctuaries for the present? What if you looked around and asked, not, do I own this? But, does this still bless my life? This isn't about minimalism or throwing everything out. It's about choosing to live with intention. To surround yourself with things that serve a purpose, spark joy, or hold real meaning, not just obligation. A simple way to start? Choose one drawer, one shelf, or one surface today. Pick up each item and gently ask, would I miss this if it were gone? If the answer is no, consider passing it along to a neighbor, a local charity, or even just the trash if it's no longer usable. And with each item you release, notice how your body feels. Lighter? Clearer? More peaceful? Because it's never just about the item. It's about what it represented and the space you reclaim by letting it go. And here's the most beautiful part. When your home is filled only with things that bring value and comfort, you're not just creating a cleaner space. You're creating a home that truly feels like you. Not who you were, not what others expect, but you, right now. So let go of just in case. Let go of should, and embrace the quiet beauty of living light, not for show, not for others, but for your own peace. And now that we've cleared some space in your home, and maybe even in your heart, it's time for one last habit. A small but powerful choice that ties everything together. Let's talk about that next. You've made the bed, you've cleared the sink, you've opened the window and let the fresh air in. One small habit at a time, not rushing, not forcing, just gently choosing to care for your space and yourself. And now, before we part, I want to offer you one final habit. It might be the simplest of all, but in many ways, it's the most powerful. Take a moment each day to enjoy what you've created. Sit in your favorite chair, sip your tea slowly, light a candle, put on soft music, and just be. So often we clean, straighten, organize, and then rush right into the next task. We never stop to feel the result. But your home isn't just a place to maintain. It's a space to rest, to reflect, to breathe. I remember a man I once met, Mr. Walter, 82. He told me, every night before bed, I sit in my living room and just look around, not to judge what's out of place, just to say thank you to this little house that's held me through everything. That stayed with me, because sometimes a clean house is more than just clean. It's a quiet celebration, a gentle sign that you still care about the space you live in and the life you're living. So tonight, when the laundry's folded and the kitchen's calm, don't rush away. Sit, exhale. Look around and say, this is enough. I am enough. Because at this stage in life, peace is no longer a luxury. It's a choice, made through small habits that honor who you are, not who you used to be or what anyone else expects. And if you're wondering where to begin, just pick one thing. Maybe it's wiping the counter before bed. Maybe it's making your bed tomorrow morning. Maybe it's letting go of one item that no longer brings you joy. Small steps, big shift. And remember, a peaceful home doesn't mean a perfect home. It means a home that feels like yours, lived in, loved, light. If this video brought you any comfort, I hope you'll share it with someone you care about. And if you'd like more gentle reminders like this, I'd love to have you subscribe. Thanks for spending this time with me. Take care of your home, take care of your heart, and I'll see you next time.